Hey everybody, welcome to Alternative Media Television. I'm Chad Booksam. Thank you so much for tuning in today. What do you do when the major institutions in this country no longer want you in the country? What do you do when you have academia, science community, mainstream media, the intelligence apparatus, both major political parties? They don't want you in this country. It's not yours. No matter if you're a citizen, no matter how long you've been in this country, what do you do that they give more rights to people who don't even live here?
Okay, 30 seconds in and he's already on immigrants. Oh man, I can already tell this is going to be a great video. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Just, saw another AMTV one. I was originally going to make a video about something about Japan, like just really wanted to talk about that whole nuclear thing and that whitewashing. But anyway, no. They had to just come out and make a video like this, and they didn't think that was not going to attract my attention. Now, granted, I'm a very small YouTuber, so anything I make, they're probably not going to end up seeing. But still, then the fact that they make this kind of clickbait here, it's just too tempting for me not to resist it. So let's get back into it.
That they want them to have the opportunity and not you. That everything this country was founded on, we've completely strayed away from. What do you do in this situation? I want to read you a report here. Hundreds of asylum seekers, illegal immigrants, surrendered to an armed militia of New Mexican citizens last night after trying to cross the U.S. border. A group of 300 men, women, and children gave themselves up to the United Constitutional Patriots. The mainstream media is calling them a gang of vigilantes who claim to be made up of veterans and former police officers.
He's making the word vigilante here sound bad. He's like, no, these are the good guys, as if they're not actually vigilantes. I mean, last time I looked up the definition of what a vigilante is, it's someone who does take the law into their own hands. Now, this militia here literally did take the law into their own hands. I don't see them having like a bake sale here. No, they're arresting people.
We then handed them over to border officials. Every day, regular citizens are taking these issues into their own hands. We see, what is happening. I don't blame them, to be honest with you, because this country has failed them. These institutions in this country has failed us. So they're taking it into their own hands, and new militias are being formed. Now, we've been seeing this kind of build up, especially due to the political hatred, the sensitive nature of everybody. We're beyond debate, and we are on the brink of a major clash in this country. Even when the Mueller report was released, we hate each other even more now. Even though that Donald Trump was exonerated, they want to impeach him more than ever now. Right now, as we speak, you have socialists and Democrats in the House of Representatives trying to push through impeachment proceedings.
I want to know where this guy was for like the last 3 years, because for the last 3 years, this is what they've been trying to do. This is nothing new. They've been trying to impeach Trump forever, but they just keep running with the same narrative over and over again, thinking like it's still the fresh, hip thing these kids are into. Obviously, from the amount of views these guys get, it must be where the ad revenue comes from, too.
Perhaps there's enough evidence here to start impeachment proceedings.
Impeachment proceedings.
Immediate impeachment proceedings.
Start impeachment proceedings.
Impeachment for impeachment. Impeachment proceedings should be impeached.
For impeachment.
What do you do in this situation when they don't want you anymore in this country? Just because you rose up, you voted for a president who wasn't supposed to be president.
All right, now I'm even more confused, because who's he saying, is getting kicked out of this country? First, he's like running with his Trump is getting kicked out of the country because he rose up, and now he's like directing it towards the viewer because the viewer voted for Trump. This guy needs to keep his sentences more aligned. I know I have problems. You can hear it in my own sentences here that I come up with on the spot. But honestly, he could do at least a little better to try to clarify who he's talking to here.
They call you Nazis. They call you can't wear the apparel out on the street. You'll get attacked. And you see it every day, how vile, especially the mainstream media is in this country. And it's a big fight against good, against evil. So I'm not surprised that these militias like this are forming. Is it a new republic that's forming?
All right, now that's starting to sound a little treasonous, He's starting to say that he's going to overthrow the government, our own government. Even these militias, if they are so-called made up of veterans and ex-police officers, I don't think they're going to want to take up arms against their fellow brethren here to try to overthrow this government. It just seems unrealistic that we would have a civil war, and if we did, it would be mostly like pockets of violence in certain areas, nothing like the last one where it was an actual war with battlefields here. No, there's just no way with the amount our military is now, and just the ability, even for our police and National Guard alone, to control such a situation a civil war is just unlikely.
I've always questioned that because I think Donald Trump's election is absolutely biblical in nature. 100%. He exposed the truth so much, changed the world, opened up our eyes to this globalist apparatus that took over our country. It's no longer about the nation state. This New World Order system that created this administrative state, that they don't care about you anymore. That what we always wanted, small government and just opportunity, is not there for us anymore. And the country, the institutions.
Clearly, this guy's never heard of the gracious thing known as federalism, which allows, anything that isn't outlined in the Constitution as national powers to be controlled by the states. So, yes, states can determine. They have a lot of power, too, within their own borders, and hence why our government is smaller governments, which are smaller governments, and so on. But they get so focused on the national one when anything national that gets passed isn't really going to affect statewide. I mean, the most important things that get passed here do come from our own state governments, which we also elect. Funny thing, it turns out we're actually a representative democracy, and this guy is just, crazy?
Have failed us 100%. What do you do when you're in this situation? We see what's happening all around the world, how our rivals, our adversaries, these major powers are so united. And look at us. Not whatsoever. Imagine if we had a war, because look what's happening across seas. Look what's happening with Russia. They're so much stronger now, and they're expanding. Look, because they're united and they have a vision for the future. The same with China. They're expanding. They have a vision for the future, and they're united. If we go to war, if a war was launched, half of this country wouldn't even fight on our side. That's how much they hate it.
I mean, he does have a point. The United States is pretty weak at this point, if I'm being honest. I mean, our morale is low. We're too much on infighting here. And just, if you look over at Russia and you see big, strong Putin over here, who's actually really showing us because, they sent troops into Venezuela, which is our sphere of influence, which we need to keep maintained. But yet we were like,
Steve? Mr. President, what sort of complications does the Russian involvement now pose?
Russia has to get out. What's your next question?
Russia replied with no. And we were just like, okay then. Guess we'll do nothing. And I mean, we need someone who will actually take charge. And I mean, this is why I hate Trump, but this is also why I hate the Democrats. It's because both of them are weak. We need an actual strong leader like Putin over here, but, less dictator.
What do you do when you're in this situation? I mean, we have the threats of EMP attacks. We have the threats of nuclear attacks. You see India and Pakistan. India saying that they're going to drop the mother of all bombs on the Pakistan. This is a huge, major New World Order power shift that's occurring. Even Russia admitted it. They see it, that they're going to take over because we can't even handle our own affairs. This is what they're stating. What do we do in that situation? Is a new republic forming? Is it time for a new republic to form? Now, obviously, we see that we're at the brink of something major. We have socialists in this country who definitely want to win, and we have the intelligence apparatus that is full of liberals, and we have corruption everywhere that we can't count on our elected officials, number one, but we also can't count on our electoral system, that it won't be fraudulent. The insurance policy on Donald Trump was something major, and it's like nobody cares in this country. It's like nobody cares.
Maybe the reason why nobody's taken his message seriously is because this comes from the same people who thought 5G internet was gonna kill us. I mean, they first said it was flu, then they said it was 5G, then they said it was an EMP, then they said it was going to be nuclear war, and then they said it was going to be a full-on invasion. They just can't really narrow down, our extinction here, can they? And in the process, they make themselves flat earthers, and they don't believe in the moon landing. So, obviously, we know the audience they cater to is also crazy, which is another good reason nobody takes you seriously, mate.
That was done. That it's us. We're the problem. And you see, they're censoring conservatives, they're eliminating bank accounts, they're shutting us out of everything because they don't want us in this country anymore. And you have this intelligent apparatus that is going to go 100% full steam ahead. Right now, under Trump, there are way more radical leftists in the establishment, in the intelligence community than ever before who are willing to do everything. We've seen what was occurring in 2016. Imagine, because Donald Trump is exonerated and they feel much worse. They feel like he should be impeached and removed this to save this country so they can change the country. Remember, it's not to save it from its founding, but to change it. What are they going to do in 2020? Imagine if these socialists comes in the office and they win. They're already saying that they want to take our guns away. You had one of the people running.
Now, again, by being a conservative, you're not exactly painting a target on your back. You are when, obviously you assault someone else in the street, because I'm going to be honest here, I'm actually pretty conservative myself, but the only side I see that's actually hurting the other is us, hurting the Dems here, which, is not how we should be handling this situation, but these old people have a lot of built-up anger and so on, and I mean, he's making it look like by supporting Trump, this, immediately you're gonna get attacked, essentially, is what he's saying. It's a thought control, 1984 going on here. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can announce that I support Trump. And has anything happened? Has anything happened? Uh-oh. Oh, no.
As a candidate right now saying that, look, we'll use nuclear weapons to take the guns away from us. So you see these new militias forming. You see these mercenaries forming, and I am not surprised whatsoever that this is occurring. It's probably occurring more than we can see. And keep in mind, this will be a big fight because you have a huge apparatus in this country that you can't count on, and they will attack them. And if socialists win and they take over this country, they will take our guns away, 100%. We are on the precipice of a major shift. It's either going to go one way or the other. And honestly, it's up to all of us to decide what's going to happen to our country.
And the video ends with him trying to sell us the usual stuff, Just, this is another one of those AMTV scams, even though I think they partially know they're scamming here, and they partially think that they are, the messenger of God here, and here to warn us of something. I mean, at this point, anything could happen. I mean, we had a Florida woman coming over here, just absolutely wanting to shoot up Columbine, but it ended up with her naked and committing suicide on Mount Evans. It's, insane world, and, Russia's moving up. China's moving up. We're escalating things. India and Pakistan are, just waiting to happen. So, obviously, war could start tomorrow, or it might never. So, I guess the fact that they latch on to these uncertain times in such a manner does attract a certain audience. But, again, I wouldn't really, go as far as to waste every bit of money you have on this. And, I've just been dragging this out too long. I'm going to end the video here, guys. I want to work on another one, which is going to be